Well, that was intense. That was really windy. It was a fun hike, but super windy. It was so windy, these little camera straps, they kept blowing up and hitting me in the face, and one time it hit me in the eyeball. It actually kind of hurt. We're right on the edge of the fog, but it's just pouring right over us. So as in most times, or not most times, but a lot of times, we are not above the fog. And a lot of people ask me, how do you predict getting above the fog? How do you get above the fog? How do you do it? Well, I check the weather sometimes, and I check webcams sometimes, but a lot of the times I just go, and a lot of the times I end up getting this. One of the keys to landscape photography is persistence. You're not gonna get the shot unless you're there, right? Or unless you're out exploring. But of course, being out exploring a lot means sometimes you're not gonna get a shot. So it's all part of it. It's all part of the experience. There's 3 plans, 3 things we could do. Plan number 1, we go home. We throw in the towel, say, you know what, this isn't happening, and it's cold and I wanna go home. I'm not a fan of plan number 1. I usually don't do plan number 1, so we're just not gonna do plan number 1. Plan number 2 is we go up that way, northwest, to another ridge that's just a little bit higher, see if we can get above the fog. I'm gonna leave that plan as a last resort. Plan number 3, which is the plan that we're gonna do, is we're actually gonna head downhill. And I know what you're thinking, okay, well, we're in the fog. If you go downhill, won't you still be in the fog? Sometimes the fog rolls in, but it doesn't roll all the way east. So my hopes are, if we head east and downhill, we might be able to get to the edge of the fog and actually see the fog pouring in front of us. It's kind of my best prediction right now. So unfortunately, this spot didn't work out. Happens all the time. That's okay. We're gonna go down there, see if we can get some good shots, and then we have to hike this way back anyways, so we'll find potentially some other viewpoints and places to hike around if this spot doesn't work. Find a place to shade from the wind. Whew. I can't believe that worked. We got out of the fog. It's super windy, so I found this little spot behind a rock. It's like the only spot that I could find shielded from some pretty intense winds. The fog is being a little difficult today. We don't really have the Golden Gate Bridge at the moment. We've got a lot of fog pouring over it. I think I'm gonna wait a second, enjoy the view, see if things change in the next 5-10 minutes, and then we'll see if we can shoot some images. Always gotta pack a peanut butter sandwich for the shoot. Very important. Probably more important than the camera gear. After lounging around for about 5 minutes, the fog just completely
engulfed me, and I had to start walking back up the hill.
You can see the edge of the fog right there where the light is coming through. We're right on the edge of the fog. That looks really surreal. There's not much I can do with it photographically, but it looks really cool. I hope it's getting picked up by the camera. So we're going to a higher ridge right up there, see if we can get above the fog. I don't know. We'll see. I am tired. We made it up to another hill. We're not really above the fog, unfortunately. We're like right on the edge again. Every once in a while I see the landscape pop out, but the fog is too high to see the city or the bridge. You kind of just see, well, sort of nothing. It's one of those days, you know? Keep chasing and can't quite get it.
It's funny how things can change in a split second. I was so ready to give up, and then all of a sudden I turned around, the fog lowered, and I witnessed this.
Check that out. My gosh. That's incredible. That's just gorgeous. I've never seen the fog flow from this position before, with the mountain in the background, beautiful fog waterfall pouring into the bay. I was kind of giving up hope for a little bit. I was like, I think I may actually start hiking back, but really glad I didn't. My gosh, that is gorgeous. Right now I've got the 100, 400 on here, but really I think the star of the show would be a nice wide shot, a nice long exposure, and then a beautiful flowy time lapse of this scene. So I'm gonna go ahead and set that up. I don't really know how this scene is gonna look in the camera, but I can tell you in person, it's amazing.
So here's my image from the scene, a long exposure panorama. I really love the way this shot ended up coming out. I love that smooth, silky look to the fog and all those layers of hills in the background with the city lights. This is actually a tricky image to get. I ended up doing a multiple image panorama, but not only that, I actually ended up doing multiple exposures as well. So here are the shots that went into this panorama. Here's a brighter shot, and then a darker one for the horizon. This is on the left side. And then I took another shot right here. This one has the mountain in the background. Another darker shot right here. And brighter, darker, brighter, and then darker. And this is from the right side of the frame.
So I have my camera clicking a time lapse at the moment. Looks gorgeous with this fog waterfall in the background. I'm doing quick 1 second intervals.
So after this incredible evening, I was really happy with the results. I was really happy with my panorama image and the time lapses, although I still really wanted to capture images from that previous spot in the video where I got fogged out. So I tried to do that hike another 4 times, and each and every time I got fogged out with the same conditions similar to this video. And then 2 months later, 2 months after recording this video, I finally got the conditions that I was looking for. I was battling some pretty strong winds, so I wasn't able to record any vlog footage, but let me show you what I captured. So here's an image captured at 28mm with Nikon D850 and the 16-35 lens. I love this little tree in the foreground, so I really wanted to include it in a composition, and I just loved that fog waterfall that was pouring down the mountain. I decided to go with the long exposure for this one, 13 seconds, and I think it worked really well. I managed to find a rock just to kind of shield the camera from the wind, and it helped to a certain extent and allowed me to get this shot. And then after sunset, the Golden Gate Bridge finally revealed itself, and I really only got 1 or 2 shots before the fog completely engulfed the bridge again. Persistence really is one of the keys to landscape photography. If you don't get the shots the first time, second, third, fourth, even 5th time, just keep trying, because eventually you will get the shots that you were looking for. As always, I really appreciate you watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.